Best story. Malone was the fresh narrative. Jordan was just Jordan again. But Michael Jeffrey Jordan doesn't forget, ever. He filed that MVP vote away in his mental database right next to every other slide.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone, and good morning to y'all. Hope y'all having a good morning so far. I wanted to check this video out, you guys. Ever since a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember what video it was, but I reacted to something from Old School Basketball Channel, and ever since then, man, this guy's hilarious. So I wanted to check out another video with you guys just to start out the day with some laughs. And also, it's a topic that I think is fun. So, good combo here. This one's titled, The Only Thing Michael Jordan Hated More Than Losing. Losing MVP to Karl Malone. So, I think we're going to be talking about 1997 here. And combined with old school B-Ball's crazy sense of humor, I think this is going to be a wildly fun video. So anyways, as I always do, I'm going to link the original video from Old School B-Ball down below in the description. You'll also see a list of channel members there. I want to give a quick shout out to channel members. I appreciate you all. And also a quick shout out to two new channel members. I don't know if it's Ike or LKE. But anyways, looks like... similar to a Chuck Norris thing with a cowboy hat on there, like a Texas Walker Texas Ranger type image there. So thank you very much. And then JC, excuse me, shout out to you as well. Welcome new members. I appreciate you all very much. And without further ado, you guys, like the vid, I'd appreciate it. And let's do it. Hope you're awake because you're probably gonna laugh.
Yeah, Karl, you won MVP this year. Well, this is the MVP of the finals.
Michael Jordan just buried the 19-footer to steal Game 1 of the NBA Finals. But here's what is insane.
Cool
Everyone
image.
saw it coming. The defense knew he was getting the ball. Hell, even the guy trying to stop him knew exactly what was about to happen.
Yep.
And it happened anyway.
It's like guarding Bird.
See, this wasn't just a basketball shot. This was the most predictable moment in finals history, becoming the most devastating. This was psychological warfare disguised as free throws. This was 4 words that broke a Hall of Famer's brain. This was Michael Jordan proving that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can be is inevitable. You're about to see how league's most valuable player got schooled by the guy who actually was. Let's rewind.
Okay, to be fair to the Utah Jazz, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. If they double team MJ has proved that he will find the open man and he'll trust in his teammates. So you can't double team him on the last shot. But then if you don't double team him, he's proven time and time again he's about to bust your ass. So what are you supposed to do?
To April 1997, the NBA announces Karl Malone as the league's most valuable player. The mailman from Louisiana beat out his airness in what felt like the basketball equivalent of giving the Oscar for Best Actor to someone other than Daniel Day-Lewis. Now,
What?
was Malone deserving? Absolutely. The guy averaged 27 points and 10 rebounds while leading.
Wait. I think Michael for letting me borrow it for 1 year, Malone said. Okay, he averaged 27, 9, well, 10 really, and 4 assists. They had the best record. I think that was a big part of it because they had the best record. So they went in with home court advantage even in the finals there. Shot 55% from the field, 11th in rebounding. Yeah. And I love it because Jordan's like, yeah, you can have that one. I'm going to go get the real one.
Utah to 64 wins. But here's what the voters missed. And this is classic NBA myopia. They confused most valuable with best story. Malone was the fresh narrative. Jordan was just Jordan again.
Yeah, it was.
But Michael Jeffrey Jordan doesn't forget, ever. He filed that MVP vote away in his mental database right next to every other slight, real or imagined, that fueled his...
Wait. It's no longer Karl Malone anymore. It's MVP Karl Malone. Yes, there is a lot more pressure. Is that why you didn't deliver on Sunday?
Psychotic competitive fire. Fast forward to June 1st, and Jordan gets his chance for vindication on the biggest possible stage, game 1 of the finals, against the guy who beat him for MVP in front of 650 million people worldwide.
Damn.
The basketball gods couldn't have scripted better if they tried.
It's true.
But first,
it's one thing I love about the Jordan legacy is every finals he was either the MVP or he was going against the MVP. You know, like, I mean, am I right on that? I think I'm right on that. Fact check me, you guys. Is there... The only one I'm questioning was 1992. I'm not sure. Anyways, let me know in the comments, you guys. I'm pretty sure on that. I think he either was the MVP or he beat the MVP.
let's talk about Scottie Pippen, because none of this happens without arguably the most underrated finals performance in NBA history. Pippen had been in a literal walking cast just 48 hours earlier. Soft tissue injury to his left foot from the Miami series. The kind of injury that makes you grimace just thinking about it. He was listed as questionable right up until tip-off, and even then, nobody knew if he could actually play basketball or just stand on one leg for 48 minutes. What does Scottie do? Only drops 27 points on 11 of 19 shooting,
Damn, man.
grabs 9 rebounds, blocks 4 shots, and plays 43 minutes of winning basketball. Oh, and delivers the single greatest piece of psychological warfare in finals history.
Yeah, this is where I thought he was going. I forgot he had such a good game, man. Good job, Scottie.
When reporters asked him about playing through the pain, Pippen gave them this gem. It's that part of the season where you're going to do anything you can to stay on top of the water. You don't want to sink.
Yeah.
Translation: this is the finals, baby.
Yeah, you gotta
either
play through
show
the pain.
up or you go home.
Uh-huh.
But here's the beautiful irony. Pippen's injury actually made him better. He couldn't rely on his athleticism, so he had to be smarter, more calculated. And when the moment came to get inside Karl Malone's head, well, let's just say Scottie knew exactly which buttons to push.
Crazy to think that his last 2 finals, he was busted up, Scottie was. But also, to be fair, if you think about his run from 1990 to all the way to 1998, he was either like winning a championship, so playing more games than anybody else, or losing just a couple of weeks away from that. You know what I mean? In that 1 year and in those 2 years, 94 and 95. But outside of that, yeah, he had a lot of miles on his body at that point.
Now we get to the meat of this story. With 9.2 seconds left and the game tied at 82, Karl Malone, the supposed MVP, steps to the free throw line, 2 shots, make both, and Utah probably steals game 1 on the road, miss them, and well, we know what happens when Michael Jordan gets the ball with the game on the line.
Yeah.
As Malone approaches to the line, Scottie Pippen casually strolls over. Remember, these guys were Olympic teammates in 92 and 96.
Yeah, they're not
They're
teammates
friends,
now.
But friendship ends when Larry O'Brien trophies are on the line. Pip leans in and delivers what might be the coldest line in NBA playoff history. The mailman doesn't deliver on Sunday. Now, let's break down the genius of psychological torpedo. First, it is factually accurate.
Psychological torpedo? Okay. All right, I'm back in. Let's go.
The Postal Service doesn't deliver on Sundays.
No, it doesn't.
Second, it is perfectly timed, just as Malone needs to focus most.
Yep.
Third, it attacks his identity.
It is.
The mailman was staying his brand. And fourth, it worked. Malone, a 76 free throw shooter, proceeds to brick both attempts.
Damn. Okay, so he was 76%. And yeah, that's... There's just a word for that. It's a choke, man. It is what it is.
Close misses. These were the kind of shots that make you wonder if someone switched the rim to a smaller size. When asked about it later, Malone gave the most heartbreaking quote in finals history. It was agonizing. I can't dwell on it. They were big free throws, but it should have come down to that. It was just me up there. I just missed them. Just me up there. 4 words that perfectly capture the loneliness of pressure moments. But here's the thing.
Hey, man. You're the MVP, though. You know? That sucks. That sucks, though. I kind of feel bad. But no, I don't. Now, you know, knowing who he is as a person. Never mind.
Great players don't feel alone in those moments. They feel alive.
Oh, damn. What a
7.5
line.
seconds. That is all the time left after Jordan curls the rebound from Malone's second miss. The Bulls call timeout.
That's good. You need about 8 to run an ISO play successfully.
And Phil Jackson draws up a play that basically get Michael the ball and get out of the way.
Yep.
But here's where Jerry Sloan...
It's funny to think this is in 97, and they ran that same play in 89, and Phil wasn't even the coach. But when you got Michael Jordan on the team, yeah, you give him the ball and get the hell out of the way. You just let him work.
Coach, who made one crucial mistake, decides to defend Jordan with single coverage. Byron Russell, their best wing defender.
Okay, I know where he's heading here. And you guys heard what I said earlier in the video. If you double him, he's gonna hit the open man. If you don't double him, he's gonna win the game. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you risk hoping that Jordan's gonna miss in single coverage, or do you leave someone else wide open and hope that they miss? What would you do? There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious. So let me know in the comments. How would you defend this play? 7.5 seconds left. We're in the NBA Finals. You know Jordan's going to get the ball. What's your coverage on him? Do you single or double coverage him?
Alone on an island with the greatest closer in basketball history. Think about this decision for a second. You know Jordan's getting the ball. You know he's taking the shot.
Yep.
You know he's made a career out of impossible game winners. And your defensive strategy is to guard them one-on-one? Sloan would later admit, we probably made a mistake. We've made them before. You think? Jordan takes the inbound pass on the left wing. And what happens next is pure poetry in motion. He surveys the defense like a chess grandmaster, seeing 5 moves ahead, no double team coming, Russell playing honest defense but giving him just enough space. 1 dribble to his left, Russell staying with him, then Jordan rises up for the signature jump shot, the shot that had terrorized the league for over a decade. 19 feet from the basket, Byron Russell's hand in the face, the weight of an entire franchise's championship hopes on his...
Man, I mean, look how well defended he was. That's the thing. That's probably why he recruited Russell later on when he was with the Wizards. Because look at this. You can't do any better than this. But Jordan just iced it anyways. And Jordan I'm sure Jordan knows that. Because there are people who make his job more difficult. But at the end of the day, he's going to make the shot or miss the shot. And it's going to be all on himself.
Hoops on his shoulders.
Damn.
And Michael Jordan, in the most Michael Jordan moment possible, buries it. Swish. Bulls 84, Jazz 82. Game over. The celebration that follows is pure Jordan. The fist
Okay,
pump.
that's a cool image. I've never seen this image before. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad for him, man. Like, I keep saying it. I feel bad for him, but he actually asked for this. He literally asked, Jordan to come back and said, because, he would lock him up. Well, you got your chance. I guess you did. I should stop feeling bad for you. You got your wish.
The intensity, the look that says, did you really think anyone else was taking that shot? But it is what Jordan said afterwards that perfectly captures why he was different from...
I can't fathom the idea that anybody watching the game knows you're going to get the ball, knows you're going to take the shot, and yet you're able to come through in that situation. It's an unbelievable feeling. So he's so self-aware of the expectation that we had on him, and then he's still coming through. Because that's how we all felt. It is really. We all expected him to make the shot over and over and over again in pressure situations. That's got to be an unbelievable feeling.
Every other superstar. I can't fathom the idea that everybody watching the game knows you're going to get the ball, knows you're going to take the shot, and yet you are able to come through in that situation. It is an unbelievable feeling. Most players would crack under that pressure, the predictability, the expectation. Jordan, he fed off it like some kind of basketball vampire. Meanwhile, official MVP is walking to locker room while fans wave stamps and business envelopes at him. The symbolism is almost too perfect. The mailman who couldn't deliver when it matters the most, getting mocked by props from his own postal service. When reporters caught up with Malone later, he gave them this quote that still haunts me. Michael is the greatest, okay. That is what everyone wants to hear. He hit the winning shot today, so I'll say it.
Dang. I don't think Karl Malone likes MJ very much. I've seen in another interview, I don't remember who it was. It might have been like Dan Patrick or something. And they asked him about like what does he think about Michael Jordan. He's like, what do I think about Michael Jordan? He's Michael Jordan. What else is there to say? He's Michael Jordan. Like he got so like immediately triggered. But I guess how else would you feel? The guy beat you twice in the NBA Finals, back to back, and those were the years you were supposed to be a champion. I don't think he's gotten over it.
The resignation in those words, the acceptance that he'd just been schooled by the master.
Yeah.
That is the sound of a very good player realizing he'll never be great. Let's talk about what actually happened in this game, because the final score doesn't tell the whole story. The Bulls led for less than 10 minutes total. They trailed for 44 of the 48 minutes.
Wow.
The lead changed hands 23 times. This wasn't just some dominant Bulls performance. This was a dogfight where Chicago got outplayed for 47 minutes and 52.5 seconds.
I mean, you can see that score. What was it, 84-82, I think it was? Yeah, that's a grind of a game.
Then won it in the final 7.5 seconds because they had Michael Jordan and Utah didn't. Jordan himself shot 9 for 21 through 3 quarters. Not exactly vintage MJ. But here's the thing about clutch players. They do not need to be perfect for 48 minutes. They just need to be perfect when it matters. Fourth quarter, Jordan.
And I don't know about you guys, but like the inflated scoring, part of what I miss about the lower scoring games is that every point matters, every shot matters, and they're harder to come by. And it seems to be like a more rewarding system than just like 3-ball. And then once you get up to like 120 points, it's like, okay, who cares who scored 30? You know, but if the final score is like 85 or 90, yeah, you really care about who scored 30 points that game because they're responsible for at least a third of the points.
Different animal entirely. He goes 4 for 6 when the pressure was highest,
4 for
including
6.
that final dagger that nobody will ever forget. The Jazz out-rebounded the Bulls 43-36. They had fewer turnovers. They got better bench production. They did literally everything right except for those 2 free throws and 1 defensive possession. And that was enough for MJ to steal their souls. This game wasn't just about 1 shot or 1 missed free throw. It was about the difference between good and great, between talented and legendary, between MVP awards that actual value when everything is on the line. Malone was a phenomenal player, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the...
Hold on. Niang played right into all the pre-series hype over who was more deserving of the MVP award. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so Malone who won it or Jordan who finished second. And after one game, Jordan is still the man. Malone even grudgingly admitted as much after the game, yeah.
Malone was a phenomenal player, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest power forwards ever, but he wasn't Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
and
no
game 1 of the 97 finals proved it in the most brutal way possible. You know what the craziest part is? Everyone saw it coming. Stockton knew, Sloan knew, the 650 million people watching worldwide knew, Even Byron Russell knew, saying afterwards, he did what Michael Jordan is known for, backbreakers. The predictability wasn't Jordan's weakness, it was a superpower. He turned inevitability into intimidation. When everyone knows you're getting the ball and you still cannot be stopped, that is not basketball anymore. That is psychological warfare.
It reminds me of Tyson, you know, early Tyson, when he still had his original manager and trainer. Everyone knew what he's doing. He's going to come out and try and knock you out in 15 seconds. It's a psychological game. You know, if he was going to be like calm, calculated, patient, you know, and fight into like the 5th or 6th round, and that was his average, you wouldn't be scared going into that first round. But by destroying people within just, it's no joke, you guys. Go check out Prime Mike Tyson. The guy was knocking people out in seconds. So you walked into that ring scared for your life. That like, this guy might just crush me in 30 seconds. This might be really embarrassing. I hope I don't get hurt. And then, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of people, they get knocked down once from Mike. They don't get up. And could you imagine training for like 6 months in a row? You know, hard training. And then 15 seconds in the ring with this guy, you're on the ground, confused as to what happened. I might not get up either. You know, in that situation, I might just be like, damn it. Okay, he's obviously got me. Time to go find someone else.
There is a beautiful epilogue to this story. 8 days later, in Game 4 back in Utah, Karl Malone gets his redemption. Same situation, crucial free throws late in the game. This time, no Pippen whispers. This time, Malone drains both shots and leads Utah to victory. After making those free throws, Pippen was forced to admit, I guess the mailman delivers on Sundays out here. But here's the thing about Michael Jordan.
Wait, but it was 4 days later, right? So shouldn't that have been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
He didn't need redemption because he never failed in the first place.
Wait, what did he say?
He did.
Oops. No.
On Sundays out here. But here's the thing about Michael Jordan. He didn't need redemption because he never failed in the first place. That is the difference between the guy who wins the MVP award and the guy who is the MVP. Game 1 of the 1997 finals wasn't just a basketball game. It was a masterclass in pressure, performance, and what separates the very good from the truly great.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan didn't just beat the Utah Jazz that night. He beat the narrative that everyone else deserved to be called the league's most valuable player.
Yeah.
The mailman might not have delivered on Sunday, but his earnest, he delivered when it matters the most. Just like he always did.
Oh, man, wait.
Sometimes the greatest stories aren't about what happened. They're about what was always going to happen. Michael Jordan taking and making that shot wasn't a surprise. It was destiny.
All right, that's the end of it. Damn, man. What is this? Larry Bird versus Chuck Persons. Trash Talk reaches his peak in 1991. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I want to look at that too. Okay, sorry guys. I love this channel, man. Oh man. All right, if you guys haven't seen a video by Old School Basketball, I'm linking it down below for you guys. I don't know, man. This is a special kind of channel because every single video, it's recounting a story that we, like most of us, know about, at least. But it's done in such a humorous way that, like, I find so much enjoyment out of this, you know. Plus, there's stuff that I'm learning each time I watch, anyways. So, hopefully, you guys enjoyed it too. It's a very nice and healthy way to start out a day. I don't know. I've always been this way. I like to start out the day with some laughs if I can, because you know the grind of the day is the grind of the day. So might as well like start and end happy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I'm just a little confused on Scotty's comments for Game 2, because if I follow the story correctly, then it would be Game 2 in '97 finals. Karl Malone hit 2 clutch free throws, but that would have been on a Thursday. So, anyways, yeah, guys, let me know what you thought about this one. I know we've covered the 97 finals before and all this stuff, but you know, this was a different take on it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I sure did. But anyways, I am gonna head out of here. I will see you all in the comments, and I'm sure we're gonna have some laughs in there today. So I'll see you there. Like the vid if you enjoyed this. Dislike the video twice if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and most importantly, is to be water, my friends.